welcome and thanks for sharing with us. Tell us your name and where you're from, a little bit about your family.
Hi, my name is Kenilee Pelletier. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, born and raised, but I come from Cowes First Nation. It is a reserve and Treaty 4 area.
My name is Kurtis Giambattista, and my biological grandma was Margaret Akachuk. So I was taken away from my family when I was 6 from the government, and I was adopted by the Giambattistas when I was 17, one of those, 16 to 17, maybe 18, I don't know. And I've just been always focused on God, always been raised up in Jesus, and just always been helping people.
Name is Leila Arndt. My maiden name is Campo. My family is from Saskatchewan Cree Nation. That's in Manitoba. And I was born in Edmonton. I grew up in Vancouver with my parents, both being Christian people.
Both my parents, both third generation residential school survivors. My dad is from Cowes First Nation and my mother's from Pepicasis. My mother attended Liberette Residential School, and then my father attended a day school called Marvia, I think it's called, on his home reserve. And what that third generation kind of residential school survivor means is that so means that his parents and his grandparents also went to it, or my mom's parents and her grandparents went to it as well. And so like they're the last of like kind of like that generation to like having to be kind of forced to go there. My grandparents, they had it hard at like a really pivotal point in history, I feel. So like from that kind of like trauma and abuse through these schools, it kind of created that really toxic family environment for my mother and my father. But what that kind of meant for my family is that we came from a really kind of dysfunctional kind of foundation. My parents met quite young. They had us all quite young. My mother was a Christian though, like a strong Christian from growing up from her grandmother. But my dad was kind of, he really had those like real like hard repercussions of like, you know, like abuse, trauma kind of throughout his life. So what that kind of meant is like where we kind of came from. It wasn't always a good kind of start, you know, and one solid thing that we always had through our life was Christianity. You know, we knew of a savior named Jesus, and we knew of a God who sent his son to earth to die for us. And so like kind of growing up, there was that kind of like big kind of like dysfunction throughout kind of our family. But no matter what, my grandma always like held on to her faith, and same with my mother. They just held on fast to Jesus. So when I was about 12 or 13, when my grandmother passed away, that really hit our family hard. You know, I kind of thought, you know, it couldn't get worse than this, but then it actually did, you know, following her death. But kind of finding that like support when I came back to my faith, like having that support system there has definitely been really rewarding, because now I don't have to go through this alone. You know, like it doesn't have to be just me, God, and Jesus. It can also be, oh, my Christian friends, you know, my youth pastor, oh, like these other people in the community who are also Christians who also love me. I feel like the support I've had in Gentle Road is just like immense compared to like kind of like what I had growing up, you know. And
I've always felt like they were family. They always treated me like I was their own kid, me and my brother. But being adopted was just an official name change, Giambattista, and just nothing changed. I always was their son, and I was my 2 adopted sisters. I was always their siblings. But it just showed how much they cared for me, that they would go through the 3-year process of adopting, papers, name change, everything, and take on financial responsibilities for me and Garrett. My grandma, she was an amazing woman, and me and my brother would always go over like every weekend, eating bannock, watching Disney movies, and she would love cooking with me. When I started first cooking, I was terrible, and then she mocked me at it.
And she passed away last year?
Yes.
Yeah. How was that for you?
It was a shock, because our very last conversation was about her passing away. And then she's like, oh, I'm not going to be here for much longer. I'm like, no, you're going to be here for my wedding, Garrett's wedding, my death, Garrett's death. You're not dying on us. And then 2 weeks later, she passed away, and it just hit me, realize that we all have a limited time here on earth. I only got her back 5 years after being taken away from my family. All those times I've taken for granted, and where I'm like, oh, I could have said I love you, or I could have picked her up for coffee then, but I never did, because I'm like, oh, I have tomorrow, I have next week. So, but it came as a shock, and it really just tore me, put me down a few pegs.
So in total, I've raised like 10 kids, and I got 3 granddaughters. So I have gone through some tough times since 2016. In September of 2016, I lost my daughter Lulu to suicide. And then in February of 2017, I lost my marriage due to that grief of losing my daughter. And then during that time, I struggled with alcohol and prescription use drug during that time. My whole family unit, we all went our separate ways. It was in July of 2017. I fell into a dark depression. I was considering suicide at that time, something I never thought I would ever think of. It was my best friend, Beatrice, that invited me to a Celebrate Recovery group. I was able to start a new beginning at that time. Reconnecting to God, when I rededicated my life and I just said, Lord, I don't have the energy to figure this out. I don't want to worry when I go to bed. I'm just tired, Lord, and just please help me. Mm-hmm. Now, compared to what I do today, it comes natural. I start my daily devotions every morning. I don't start my day without God. I am resilient. I am trying to rebuild trust because there's no trust in our family.
I've been at the University of Regina for 4 years now. I'm actually entering my 4th and final year, hopefully. I'm in a major in English, and my minor is probably going to be Indigenous studies. What I kind of aspire to be kind of after this is I want to pursue to be a professor, hopefully. So hopefully right after this degree, then I'll pursue my master's. But I think a really big goal is, I want to probably teach English literature as well.
I am attending SIIT for practical nursing for 2 years, and I'm moving to Saskatchewan at the end of August. And then hopefully after I'm done that, I'll be working in Kenilee or any band or remote area to provide any medical care for Indigenous people.
Right on. So Kenilee, what's that?
It is my band. I want to impact kids not just in the Indigenous community, in any low income, in any aspect of just being with kids and showing them that Jesus is with you all the time, that you may be lonely or you may have to be the coolest person on the planet or something like that, but Jesus always loves you and that he won't abandon you. I always wanted to provide that to kids and show that Jesus is there.
I guess complete healing from our addictions, which, we are getting there. I know it takes a lot of patience. My dream would be able to recognize and to heal from our trauma that has happened in our family and that has happened in our past. I guess my dream would be not to have to worry of if the bottom's going to fall out, and know that anything that comes my way or my family's way, that we'll be able to stand together, to be together, and to fight whatever needs to be fought.
When I was probably entering grade 9 or grade 10, I found Gentle Road Youth Group actually. And that really kind of helped me because I didn't really want to spend time, too much in my family, to kind of see all those bad things going on, but I had a church to fall back on. But kind of coming to the youth group, coming with Kevin, meeting a bunch of cool, people my age and who are also First Nation, that was a really big kind of pivotal moment in my life. It made a really big impact in how I was gonna walk with my faith with Jesus. I found God again. Ever since I found Gentle Road, I think my faith has really been reestablished in Christ. I've come to know him as my comforter, my friend, my father, all these types of things that I feel like I lacked in my life previously. And so just kind of looking forward, I know there's a lot of hope because I have a really strong church family to depend on who support me. I think definitely if Gentle Road wasn't here at all, I think they would be really missing a support in the community. Sometimes the communities these kids come from, the communities that I've come from, people don't really give us the time or kind of the attention or even kind of love even. I feel you know, like my type of people and just like the other communities that I've seen where tend to be forgotten, we're kind of put like on the back burner.
What is it meant for me? I've grown a lot with my leadership skill and seeing how this church works. I used to go to a really big church. I didn't like it, and just the whole family-oriented aspect of Gentle Road has been amazing. And it's like first day I walked in there, people were making jokes. People were like just saying hi to me. I didn't feel left out. I was right part of the group, and it just felt awesome.
Gentle Road has given me a lot of emotional and spiritual support. There were times where I couldn't make a decision regarding my kids. The church prayed with me and prayed for me. Gentle Road reached out to other members and requested to keep my family in prayer. Like this past March, my estranged husband, he died. And there again, Gentle Road came to our door bearing food and prayers, and they blessed our family with the same kindness when my daughter died in 2016. Made us feel like family. They truly, and they treat us like family, and and we're absolutely very grateful.